Well, this feels a little bit strange because in this vlog, or this chat that we're going to have, is going to be the last one that I have in this room, because it is Sunday today and we are moving out of this house and to a completely different county on Wednesday. So yes, it does feel a little bit strange. But I wanted to talk to you today about what I've been up to, and I also wanted to show you a little bit about what's going on behind me, because a few of you have asked me about the books that I have here, and some eagle-eyed person spotted that I have this statuette here, which is a recent addition because I took it down from the shelf. It was up there in preparation for the move. So I thought I would talk about those. I've also got my mum's makeup box, which of course I'm going to be taking with me, so we will open that. And I'll just tell you what my itinerary is for the next few days. So sit down, have a cup of tea or a brew of your choice, and let's get started. So let's start first of all with my itinerary. Now, if you're new to my channel, of course you won't know any of this, but I'm moving out of London and I'm moving to the Suffolk coast. And we've been wanting to move there for quite a few years now. We've looked at a few properties. We nearly bought one last year. It fell through. And we saw this one last year, the house we're moving into, but we hummed and hawed because we weren't sure whether it was quite right. Anyway, we decided it is right. And luckily it was still on the market earlier this year. So we are moving out on Wednesday. Now the itinerary is quite a long one. It starts... Well, effectively it starts for us tomorrow, because tomorrow I think we need to make sure that we think about packing a suitcase, because what happens is on Tuesday the removal guys arrive and they pack things. So they wrap them, they pack them, and then on the Wednesday they actually physically put them on the van or the lorry and drive them up to the storage facility, because we can't take all our furniture straight into our new house because it's smaller. We need to store a lot of items. So they're going to, I think, take those to the store on Wednesday, sorry. Keep track of what's going on. And then on Wednesday, and then we will also move out of the house on Wednesday because there won't be any furniture left for us to use. And so we'll stay the night somewhere on Wednesday, sort of close to our new home. And then on Thursday, all being well, we will move into the new house with a reduced amount of furniture. So that's the plan. Now, hopefully it will all go smoothly. What I've done is I've prepared a list, and I need to review it, which I'll do tomorrow. I've prepared a list of items that are going into store, items that we're taking to the house, and items that we're leaving. So I have to be careful that we don't take things that we said we were going to leave, like, for example, the curtain poles, the blinds, that kind of thing. But we are taking the curtains with us. So there's a whole lot of stuff that we need to be sure that we do the right things with. And I'm sure those of you who've moved, and I know some of you have moved 10 or 11 times in your lifetime, you'll know exactly what the process is and how it best works. So all that's going on. Actually today is going to be quite weird because we've got some house clearance people coming to take away our dining table and chairs, or it's kitchen table and chairs, and my two beloved blue velvet sofas that I must have had for over 30 years. However, I am really pleased that my street WhatsApp group have taken a lot of my stuff that I've put on there that I wanted to give away. So I'm really pleased about that. They've been a fantastic group. I've had stuff from them in the past. In fact, yesterday, a young couple came to collect an item that I had been given a few months before, which I really like, but I don't have a use for when I move. So it's been really good and very community minded of everybody. I think it's been great. So that's what's happening with the move. Now yesterday I went to see Stevie Wonder in concert, and I did a little vlog intro, but I'm not going to show that because it wasn't very good quality. But I will pop up a little bit of Stevie at the end of the video so you can see what songs he performed, although I'll have to put them on the screen because I'm not allowed to play them because of copyright issues, so I will just tell you what they were. And he was absolutely fantastic. It was an amazing evening. I hadn't been to a Hyde Park concert since a friend of mine and I saw Carole King. Gosh, it must be about 7-8 years ago maybe, and it was a beautiful evening. It was warm. Everybody was in a fantastic mood. I had a burger and chips, which was wonderful, from one of the outlets. I actually saw an outlet that was selling corn dogs, which I wasn't quite sure what they were because I'd been watching Midlife Posh Closet and she talked about corn dogs. I didn't know what they were. I forgot to Google it. Anyway, there was a van selling them at the concert yesterday. but I didn't have one because I'm not a massive corn fan, it has to be said. Anyway, had a great burger and chips, had an awful can of white wine, but that's all there was, and got home about 11:30, so not too bad. I kind of guessed which song was going to be the last song. I didn't stay for an encore, and I thought I'd better get home because there was hordes of people already leaving at that point anyway, trying to make sure that they got their public transport back to wherever they come from. So it was a great evening, really enjoyed it. So today the other thing that's happening is, apart from the house clearance guys coming, is I'm getting an eyelash lift, which is why I'm not wearing any mascara. But I'm just going to quickly tell you about the makeup I'm wearing because I'm really enjoying this look at the moment. I've done it for the last 3 days. I've got the Laura Mercier Skin Tint, the Haus Labs concealer, a little bit of powder because I was looking very glowy. I think it's an Hourglass powder in a compact, the Victoria Beckham Bronzing Brick, and the new, and let me just pop and get it, Charlotte Tilbury, I think it's called the Unreal Skin Glowy Blusher. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, it's this, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's quite similar to Chouchette by Westman Atelier. Oh, if I could open it. That's it there. I'll just quickly swatch it for you. This isn't a makeup video, but it looks really like Chouchette. And I think I'm going to do a comparison when I do a try new makeup video soon, where I'll compare and contrast the two, but I think this is probably a little bit glowier than the Chouchette. And then on my lips, I've got another shade of the Gloss Bomb by Fenty Beauty, and this one, recommended by my lovely, lovely, lovely loyal subscriber, is in Blazin Donut. And it's really very light, but I've got underneath a Victoria Beckham lip pencil, which I think has darkened it a bit because I was worried that it was going to be a little bit too light. But I absolutely love these gloss bombs. They are gorgeous. They just feel so comfortable on the lips. They feel so softening and hydrating. So really enjoying these two products, and proper reviews will come soon. So let's talk about some books, shall we? These are the books that I put there. Do you know, it is funny, isn't it? When you watch some news programs and you watch people being interviewed, if they've had a book, you can guarantee that it'll be on their bookshelf. Now, I haven't got a book. Well, I have got a book. It was on Amazon, but it was not something worth showing. So I'm going to show you the books that I have got. Now, I can't promise I've read all of them all the way through, but I'll give you a little potted history of them, or a little potted synopsis, if you like. So these two books are quite recent. This is How to Dress by Alexandra Fullerton, who I think was a Vogue editor at one time. She was certainly in magazines. And this one is Erica Davis, Leopard is a Neutral. I think I prefer this one. This one has more interesting, more insightful ideas on how to dress. So for example, it'll say things like, break the rules, so never mix navy and black, and saying, well, that's rubbish. Or it'll have something like what to buy where, so it gives some examples of what shops and stores to go into. So for example, with the shoes and sandals, it suggests that you can actually find some decent things on the high street rather than having to spend a fortune on Prada. Not that I ever would, but it gives some examples of that. And it also suggests ways of wearing your whole wardrobe, so shopping your closet and making sure that you wear everything. I really liked her writing style. Now this one is a little bit more, I was going to say basic, it's not basic, it probably concentrates a little bit more on yourself and how you feel in your clothes rather than giving style advice, which is fine, but I think I preferred the other one in terms of where I'm at in styling my wardrobe, such as it is. Now, this is a fantastic book, although I must admit I haven't looked at it for many a year, but I bought this when it came out. This is by Sali Hughes, the British beauty journalist who has a column in the Guardian newspaper. She also has a huge Instagram account, and she's a very reliable, honest and interesting journalist who has an interesting take on things. She is probably the beauty journalist I respect the most, and I trust her opinion implicitly. And coincidentally, I've never met her, but coincidentally, my old house that I lived in with when my children were growing up, which is down the road from where I live now, was bought by her brother-in-law. So we have a very, very, very tenuous connection. Actually, that reminds me, I must let them know I'm moving, because I kind of kept in touch with them over the years. Right, so this is Pretty Honest. It's an excellent book. It's all about beauty. It talks about how to shop, shops. So managing counter staff, this must have been pre-Sephora, I guess. Your daily skincare routine, anti-aging products, how to get Botox. She's a big fan of Botox and the Zip Halo actually. To wax or not to wax, I love that. Beauty and the Career Woman, Mature Beauty, hair problem solving, Beauty and Illness and all of that. It's a really fantastic tome and it's really worth it. If you're a beauty lover, I would really recommend this book. It's got lots and lots of really interesting takes on things and helpful tips and tricks. Now the next couple of books by India Knight, my oldest friend bought me and they are excellent. This is the Thrift book and this is called The Shops. Now I think I'm right in saying that the Thrift book came out during the financial crash of 2008. So it was a really helpful book on how to make, do and mend, as we used to call it back in the day. And I loved it, and I love her writing style. I can really relate to it. It's almost like the way I speak, only much more articulately. So I really enjoy her books. And they're practical as well. And this one was a really useful book on shops within the UK that sell unusual things that you might be looking for. And I will revisit these books to see what I can learn from them when I've got more time, when I retire. Yay! And there is another India Knight book, which I'll come to in a minute, which is further down the pile. Now this one is Lisa Potter Dixon's Makeup Manual. I bought it to see if I could learn anything from it, but actually thinking about it, I might declutter it today because nice though it is, I haven't actually learned any special techniques from it, so I think we'll declutter that. Similarly, this one, I did dip into it, but I didn't find it all that helpful. It's the Positive Aging Plan. I think I know how to age positively, so I don't think I really need this, but it does have a lot of tweakments and treatments that you can have sort of in clinic and at home. But yeah, I'm not really using this, so I think we'll declutter that. Now, similarly, actually no, I was going to say I'm going to declutter this, but I won't because I haven't really read it, although it's not a book that you read cover to cover. It's got really short chapters on how to manage things. So for example, I've just opened it at this page, how to keep champagne, cremant, prosecco or similar fizzy. Well, I usually just stick it in the fridge actually. I know some people stick little sticks into them, to swizzle sticks or something. No, not swizzle sticks, some little, not a cork, but something. Anyway, I shall read about that. How to make risotto. Okay, give risotto half an hour of your time and it is effortless thereafter. That's what she says. I think we'll keep that. It might be a useful loo book. Now this is definitely a book I need to read more of, and I'll be referencing this in an upcoming video. This is Peter Attia, Dr. Peter Attia's book, Outlive, The Science and Art of Longevity. Now he is quite sciencey and it can be quite a tough read, but it does have some really good nuggets in it about how to live long, including his centenarian decathlon, I think he talks about, or Olympics, where he talks about wanting to be able to do 10 things when he's 100, like picking things up off the floor, carrying his grandchildren or his great-grandchildren. Anyway, it's a useful book if you want to dip into what he suggests are the best ways to live a long and healthy life. Oh, and he also has a podcast as well, which I think is on YouTube, so I'll link that down below for you. Now, this was a slightly misleading book, although I did find it interesting. It says how to be old, but it's not a manual on how to be old at all. It's actually the story of Lynn Slater's life as a fashion icon. And I did find it interesting from that perspective, but it isn't a manual on how to be old in terms of how to live an older life. So I think I'm going to declutter this having read it now, although I do think she's an amazing woman, but I think she's probably not doing as much on social media as she used to now. But an interesting read. Now, this is India Knight's beauty edit. I'm not sure I'm going to keep this because although it's interesting, it says what works when you're older. I'm not sure that I need this so much now. I mean, obviously I've got my own channel, so I think I know what works when I'm older. But I did find it helpful up to a point because she does suggest some useful products in here. So for example, there's a whole section on skincare and she actually recommends products and tweakments. Actually, she's got tweakments there as well. She's also got, what's she got here? Foundations and recommendations for types of foundation as well as the actual foundation brands and type. There's a whole section on primers. So it is useful up to a point, particularly if you want a one-stop shop for products. But of course, the products are frozen in time. It's just when this book came out, which I think was last year. So I think I'm going to declutter this. but I did enjoy dipping into it. And then finally, here's a book that I'm definitely decluttering. I think Caroline Hirons is a bit Marmite, as we say in the UK. You either love her or hate her. I mean, I can't say I feel that about her. I don't hate her. I mean, she has been useful to watch in the past, but I find her manner quite, I was going to say assertive, but I think it's almost aggressive. And I don't really love that about her. And I find that the tone of this book also has that slight aggression / assertion in it as well. So it's useful for skincare. I didn't find it useful for my age group particularly. I'm not sure it even addresses fragranced v non-fragranced products. Maybe it does, maybe that's unfair. And I don't think all her products are unfragranced either, although I may be wrong about that. Now, I did try her cleanser, and I also bought the little face cloths that came with it. Well, I say little, they weren't actually that little. I've still got a couple. They're just terry toweling cloths, really. And I didn't enjoy the cleanser much. I didn't think it was particularly good. I think from memory it was a gel or a foaming cleanser. Or was it a cream cleanser? I can't honestly remember. Anyway, I didn't repurchase it because I think it was quite pricey and I didn't particularly enjoy it. So I think I'm going to declutter that book as well. So let me move on to my granny. Now, firstly, this is my granny's name, and that's the character she was playing in the little statuette I'm going to show you that's behind me. So she was an opera singer and she performed in an opera called The Beggar's Banquet. No, not Beggar's Banquet. That's a Rolling Stones album. The Beggar's Opera by John Gay, I think it was. And she played the character of Polly Peachum. And this is she. Ooh. And there she is, my granny as Polly Peachum. Now, I think this was at the Royal Opera House. I'm not exactly sure, but it was certainly in London. And she was a coloratura soprano, which means that she had those very high trills, very, very high indeed. And she was a very successful opera singer. She performed in a lot of concerts. She travelled a lot. She sang in Germany, this is pre-war, and Austria, I believe, as well. And she did incredibly well. And then, so sadly, she lost her hearing in one ear, so she couldn't perform anymore. But she still had a fantastic voice, and actually me and my mum and my granny used to sing German Lieder together. So she had these vinyl records, which were the sort of precursor to karaoke because they were recordings in different registers. So either a soprano or a contralto, and you could play the record and you could sing along to them. And we had, I think, the sopranos. We might have had the contraltos as well, but my granny was obviously a soprano. And so we would sing along to them, the three of us. I wish we'd recorded that. Wouldn't that have been a great recording to keep? Anyway, I need to be really careful how this is transported. I haven't quite worked out how to yet. It used to have a glass case, but that got broken in one of the moves. So I'll talk to the removal guys about how best to do that. Pop that there. And I'm going to take that to the house. I don't want to put it into store. I think I need to keep it with me because it's so delicate. And then finally, this wasn't behind me, but this was my mum's makeup case. Now, this is the case she used to take to the theatre with her when she was performing. It's a beautiful leather case. Unfortunately, my stepdad put a label on it, which I think has made a bit of a mess of it. Now, I did declutter this many years after she died. She died in 1992. So actually, the anniversary is coming up any minute now, so 24 years ago, nearly. And I took out, I think, all the lipsticks and everything. Let's just check what we've got. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, no, I kept them. That's right, I kept them. Look at that. And you know what? They're really quite orangey, quite warm in tone. I think my mother's skin must have been more olivey than mine. But look, I'm going to get emotional now. But isn't this amazing to have all this? I just don't want to get rid of it because it's precious, because she touched these things. So there's a lot of lipstick. There's some pencils. Ah, this looks interesting. See, I think this must have been, oh no, it wasn't. There's a bit of pan stick. There's a huge powder puff. There's bits of eyeshadows and things like that. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. So that's the makeup. And then, what have we got? We've got a comb. We've got a little purse. We've got some very odd toys. I don't really know what they're doing, but I suppose they must have had some significance for her. She never told me what they were. There's a very pretty little box. Full of china animals. Again, I suppose these must have been gifted to her. And an American flag. Oh, and a telegram. Remember those? Look. Dear darling Maxine and everyone, have as wonderful last night as mine. Love to you all, Kate. Ah, yes, I think that is, and it's from Beverly Hills, California. I think this is Kate O'Mara, the actress. What's the date? Oh yes, 1980. Yes, this is Kate O'Mara, who was in, I think at that time she would have been cast in, not Dallas, what was the other one? Dynasty. I think she played, is it Sable's sister or something? And she had been in a play with my mum at the Old Vic. So I think this must have been when someone took over from her possibly, or maybe she wasn't in it and she just came to visit them, I'm not sure. Anyway, a fantastic telegram to keep. This is a postcard that has best wishes, love, Francis. I don't know who that is, but he's got Francis of Assisi. I don't think it's from him. So that's my mum's makeup box, which of course is going to come with me to the house as well. So there you have it. That's what's happening to me for the next few days. These are the items that are precious to me that I'm going to take to the house. And we've had a little book declutter as well. So that's it. That's it for London. Next time I see you, I'll be by the sea. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you have. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel before you leave if you haven't already. And I'm so looking forward to talking to you from my new home. And if you want to hear more from me, I do have a newsletter which comes out twice a month. And the link to subscribe to that will be in the description box below, as will the products that I talked about that I'm wearing on my face today. Did I tell you I was having an eyelash lift? I've now forgotten, but that's why I don't have any mascara on anyway. Thanks again so much for watching. I hope you're all doing really well and surviving this heat in the northern hemisphere at least. And I'll really look forward to seeing you on my next video, but don't go away. I'm going to put a little bit of Stevie at the end. Bye. This is me singing my heart out to one of my very favourite Stevie Wonder songs, Don't You Worry About a Thing. He played all the hits. He was really incredible for a 75-year-old man. What an inspiration. His voice is undimmed, and there was a really special moment towards the end of the concert where his daughter Aisha, who we hear crying as a baby on Isn't She Lovely, came onto the stage and sang with him, as did some of his other children. It was such an entertaining evening, and he's such a fantastic performer.